The story begins with a man named Teddy Gatz, who's explaining to his autistic cousin Don about honeybees. He tells him how a third of our food is pollinated by honeybees, but now they're dying off. People thought this was happening because of pesticides and habitat loss. Some people even believed that world governments and their agro-corporate overlords bioengineered colony collapse disorder to manipulate food supplies. But Teddy knew there had to be a larger organizing principle at work. So he studied, observed, and searched everywhere until he found it. The scene shifts to Michelle Fuller, the CEO of a pharmaceutical megacorporation called Oxalith. She follows her daily routine, practices physical activities, and keeps herself fit. Meanwhile, Teddy and Don are training to confront her. They're preparing their bodies and brains. Don asks Teddy, "How can you tell them apart?" Teddy responds, "There are signs." Teddy tells Don to stay away from all kinds of distractions. He says, "I know that you are actually brave and smart." But Don doesn't think he can do this. Teddy hugs him and says, "You're my only friend, and I am doing this to save you most of all." That night, Teddy is about to inject Don with a progestin-type hormonal medication. This will help them hit maximum focus and clear their heads of all psychic compulsions. The part of the brain that distracts them, that makes them sad, it's all connected to the biological imperative. They have to harness it to be their own masters. Don agrees to do this. Teddy gives him the injection. The scene shifts to the next day. Michelle arrives at her office. She tells everyone, "I need everybody to know that they are free to leave at 5:30 from now on. No one is going to be overworked like in the past. But of course, it's not compulsory. If people still have work to do, they should stay. But it's not strictly enforced. And although we still do want to meet quotas." Michelle takes her car and heads home. She arrives singing a song. But Teddy and Don are hiding there. They try to grab her near her car, but Michelle fights back and tries to run away. Teddy attempts to spray something on her. Michelle kicks Teddy and runs again. But in the end, she's brought under control. Teddy had injected her with something that made her unconscious. They put Michelle in her own car, kidnap her, and drive away. Don cuts her hair because if Michelle's hair is still attached, her companions can track them remotely. They take her to their house, where Don asks, "How can you tell that she's an alien?" Teddy says, "The signs are obvious. Narrow feet, thin cuticles, semi-protruding earlobes, high hair density." Teddy adds, "You won't notice unless you know what you're looking for." They apply antihistamine cream all over Michelle's body. Antihistamine reacts to the neurotransmitters in its nervous system and weakens it. Don and Teddy put on suits and wait for Michelle to regain consciousness. When Michelle wakes up, she has no idea where she is. But Teddy says, "Welcome to the headquarters of the human resistance." He's calling Michelle an alien named Andromedan. Michelle finds her hair shaved off. Teddy tells her, "I did this to prevent you from contacting your ship." But Michelle has no idea what ship he's talking about. Instead, she says, "Here's what's gonna happen. The police, and soon thereafter the FBI, will begin a statewide manhunt using all of the methods at their disposal. My company is a key job creator and economic engine of the region, and I am crucial. Think of it like you have abducted the governor, but worse." Michelle is trying to make Teddy and Don understand that they've made a huge mistake by kidnapping her. They'll end up in jail very soon. And there is no possible scenario where they benefit from this incident, unless they cooperate with Michelle and negotiate a deal that's fair and advantageous to us both. But Teddy doesn't believe a single word she says. To him, Michelle is a high-ranking official in the Royal Andromedan Court who has aided their species in the techno-enslavement and the agro-corporate disintegration of planet Earth. So Teddy wants her to bring them to her mothership on the night of the lunar eclipse to broker a sit-down with her royal superiors. When Michelle insists, "I'm not an alien," Teddy responds, "You are. I have done thermal imaging on your face. And look at you. How am I supposed to believe that you are a 45-year-old woman?" Teddy gives Michelle until tonight to prepare a statement that she will deliver to her emperor to grant Teddy passage to their ship and negotiate their species' withdrawal from Earth. But Michelle doesn't understand one thing clearly. Teddy says, "You killed my family. You killed my community. You killed my coworkers. You killed the bees. So you should be grateful that I'm behaving in a super professional manner by not gutting you." Teddy leaves Michelle there to sleep and goes upstairs with Dawn. Teddy and Dawn, overjoyed, hug each other and jump around like children. They're watching Michelle cry on the CCTV cameras. Teddy tells Dawn, "We can't see her as a human woman. And even if she was human, she's still evil. Pure corporate evil. She was the lead executive on the neonicotinoid linked to honeybee death. And she knows that you are watching her right now, so she is trying to gain sympathy." Teddy says, "We have to stick to the plan. We have 4 days until the lunar eclipse, when the Andromedan ship can return undetected." While keeping an eye on Michelle, Teddy remembers the time when his mom was very sick. She was saying, "They sell me the sickness and they sell me the cure. They hide things in there to program my cells. But your mom will do this for you." Then Teddy's mom started levitating in the air. Now there were only 3 days left until the lunar eclipse. In the morning, following Teddy's orders, Michelle applied that cream all over her body. Teddy, listening to podcasts about aliens, heads off to his job. But on the way, a police car stops him. This police officer, Casey, knows Teddy. Casey used to be Teddy's babysitter back in the day. And during that time, he did something to Teddy that he still regrets to this day. He says, "If you ever need anything, please let me know." Teddy says okay and leaves. Now, Teddy worked at Michelle's company. One of his colleagues had her hand cut off in a machine while working, and she was being punished for missing quotas. But this colleague doesn't want to do anything. She just doesn't want any trouble. So Teddy tells her, "Don't you worry. This is all gonna change soon." On TV, the news was filled with reports about Michelle Fuller going missing. After that, Teddy and Dawn put on their suits again and went to Michelle. Michelle had recorded on a recorder, "I am an alien from outer space." But Teddy says, "Is this a joke? You didn't even say it in your own language." Teddy angrily throws the recorder against the wall. Michelle says, "I thought about our situation here all night, and I think I know what's going on." Michelle even had a psych degree. So she tells Teddy, "I think you are in a kind of echo chamber. You are consuming content on the internet that is reinforcing this sort of warped, subjective idea of reality." Michelle wants to talk to Teddy calmly, but Teddy knew what she would say. She would say that Teddy is in some kind of internet-induced auto-hypnotic feedback loop. But Teddy wasn't going to fall for anything Michelle said. He got up and started breaking his chair. Michelle apologizes to him, saying, "I am sorry." She asks, "What is this exactly that you want? Is it money? Or my body?" But Teddy had no interest in any of that. In fact, he and Dawn had chemically castrated themselves, because Teddy knew that Michelle might try to lure them in that way. Teddy says, "Here, no money will work, no legal system will work, no government will work. I am the only guy that knows what is happening, and you will not defeat me." Michelle says, "Teddy, you need help." At that, Teddy slaps her. He angrily goes to his car and starts screaming. It's revealed to us that Teddy didn't discover the aliens on his own. A YouTuber named Gideon55 and his Andromedan infiltration research paved the way for Teddy's work. Teddy was the one who discovered how to identify them. He has never been on the ship before, but he knows enough to render it on his laptop. And now he's preparing to go to their ship and negotiate with them. He's showing these renders to Dawn. Now there are 2 days left until the lunar eclipse. Michelle is trying to free herself, but as soon as Teddy and Dawn arrive, she becomes quiet. Michelle says, "I want to help you." She accepts that she's an alien. She says, "You were right all along, and keeping my secret was necessary for me. But now I'm tired. Don't think I'm saying all this under duress." So Teddy comes closer and says, "Let's start over." He ties her up and says, "I was thinking that I could avoid a painful test, but you forced my hand." Michelle keeps saying that she's already admitted she's an alien, but Teddy will give her an electric shock to confirm it. Dawn says she's already admitted it. This doesn't feel right. Michelle is also begging, but Teddy doesn't listen to anyone. He keeps increasing the current slowly. Michelle is screaming in pain. Dawn tries to stop Teddy. He can't even bear to hear Michelle's screams. When Teddy finally stops, he realizes something. The electricity output has never reached that threshold before, which means Michelle isn't an ordinary alien. Teddy bows down and apologizes to Michelle, saying, "I had no idea, Your Majesty. I thought you were an admin." but no admin can withstand that much current. You have the royal genetic code. At that moment, Michelle remembers that Teddy's mom's condition was caused by their company. They were creating a formula that went wrong, and that's how Teddy's mom ended up in this state. So they are willing to cover all the expenses for Teddy's mom's treatment, in hopes that her condition might one day improve. Now there's only one day left until the lunar eclipse. Teddy heads out to get some supplies. He covers all the windows of his house, makes Michelle bathe, and gives her a wig and clothes. He seats her at the dinner table, gives her royal treatment, and says, "As the most evolved examples of our respective species, we have to talk eyeball to eyeball." They start talking about honeybees here. Teddy believes that Michelle's alien species is killing the bees, but Michelle doesn't agree. She says, "I take it you are referring to the neonicotinoids that my company makes, but your research is a bit out of date. CCD has declined significantly in recent years, and there is no consensus that pesticides were ever a real threat to begin with." But Teddy doesn't listen to Michelle. Michelle says, "I know you want a master plan to be there, but there isn't one. Species immunodeficiencies, changing habitats, genetic factors, they die because of all these reasons. And sometimes a species just winds down. Maybe something clicks in their heads." Hearing all this, Teddy gets angry. "We were having a nice dinner, but you are lying to me. Lying about not murdering the bees." He says, "I know who you are." So Michelle says, "I know who you are too." Michelle brings up Teddy's mom's name. She says, "We believed that we were helping. Opioid withdrawal medication like that could have helped your mother and millions like her. And the clinical trial pay was helping her too." But Teddy is telling Michelle to shut up. Michelle says, "I can still help your mother." But Teddy gets angry and attacks Michelle. He starts choking her. Michelle is about to die when she stabs Teddy with a fork and saves herself. And right then, a police car arrives outside. Inside, Michelle chokes Teddy, but Dawn hits her with the back of the gun and knocks her unconscious. Outside their house, that same police officer Casey has arrived. Teddy goes out and asks, "What's up?" Casey is out looking for Michelle and has some questions to ask Teddy. Casey comes inside the house, and right there he sees a chair tied up. Teddy says, "My mom used to have seizures. This was for her." After that, Casey's eyes fall on the cake in the kitchen. Teddy starts offering him cake. Casey says, "See, this missing lady's phone pinged a cell tower in the area the night of the abduction. And her car was also snapped by a speed trap near the intersection down the road over here." And that's why Casey is questioning local residents. He shows Teddy photos of Michelle's car and Michelle herself. Teddy says, "She owns my company, but I've never seen Michelle in person." Casey says, "I mainly just wanted to check up on you." Casey always gets a sad, awful feeling passing by Teddy's house. Meanwhile, in the basement of the house, Michelle regains consciousness. Dawn is standing there holding the gun. Michelle tries to trap Dawn in her words. "I know you will never hurt me. You could have shot me earlier upstairs, but you didn't." She calls his behavior heroic. But Dawn doesn't want to talk to her. Michelle says, "There is a world where we can help you, your cousin, and your aunt." Dawn says, "No, you're gonna get me and Teddy arrested." Michelle says, "No, I won't do that. And even if that happens, it will all be different for you, Dawn. It will if you let me go." Michelle starts saying, "All he does is drag you deeper and deeper into a pit, but I can get you out of here." Dawn shows Michelle the gun and tells her to shut up. But Michelle doesn't stop. Upstairs, Casey is sitting and eating cake. Teddy has a fork wound on his arm. Casey says, "What I did to you, man, it was wrong. And I never, ever did that to anybody else." Teddy says it's okay. He takes him outside to show him the bees. Down in the basement, Michelle realizes the police have arrived upstairs. She tells Dawn, "The police are going to arrest your cousin, but it is not too late for you. If you let me go right now, everything will work out for you. There is so much else out there." Dawn asks, "If you are an alien, will you help me?" Michelle says, "You know I am not an alien." But Dawn keeps saying, "If you are, if all of this is true and you have a spaceship, would you take me away from here?" Michelle says, "Of course, Dawn. I will take you with me. We will leave Earth." Dawn says, "But not without Teddy." Don takes a long breath and says, "Tell Teddy that I am sorry and I love him." He blows himself up. Casey hears this sound outside. Teddy attacks Casey and kills him. Teddy quickly comes to the basement. Michelle says, "I swear he did it to himself." Teddy picks up the gun and starts calling Michelle a demon from hell. "You poisoned his heart with lies and bullshit until his whole fucking world collapsed, didn't you?" Michelle tries to stop Teddy from killing her by saying, "I have a cure for your mother." Inside of her, a big change is taking place. It's an entire rearranging of her genetic code. She was the first sample in a very important Andromedan experiment which takes 4 to 5 years. And if it succeeds, she will wake up. But if we chemically terminate the experiment, she will wake up now. Michelle tells him, "In the trunk of my car, there's a bottle of antifreeze." But it's not antifreeze. It's the cure. Teddy breaks Michelle's knee, quickly grabs the antifreeze, and rushes to his mom. But behind him, Michelle, struggling with her broken knee, takes the handcuff keys out of Teddy's pocket and frees herself. Teddy reaches the hospital and pours the cure Michelle gave him into his mom's foredrip. Meanwhile, Michelle finds a secret room in Teddy's basement. There are human organs cut up here, dead people lying around, and cut-off hair scattered everywhere. This is Teddy's research room where he conducts all his experiments. On the other side, Teddy's mom starts shaking. She dies because it wasn't a cure at all. It was real antifreeze. Teddy quickly runs from the hospital. Crying, he rides his bike back to his house. He picks up the gun and goes to the basement, where Michelle angrily asks him, "How many were Andromedans?" Teddy says, "2. Michelle asks, "Do you know what you have done?" Michelle starts explaining to him why they look like humans. Their emperor discovered Earth during the age of dinosaurs but accidentally spread a fatal virus. Feeling guilty, he gave Earth new life that resembled them. A peaceful civilization was born, but some humans created stronger lab-grown humans who were more aggressive. This led to a thermonuclear war that wiped out humanity, except for a few who built an ark and survived on the oceans. When they finally returned to land, only mutant semi-humans remained, the apes. Evolution started again, but this time toward chaos. Modern humans have been stuck in an endless cycle of war, destruction, and self-harm, poisoning themselves and the planet. Even Michelle herself became more selfish and cruel the longer she stayed among humans. But humans can't help the way they are, Michelle says. It's in your genes. The violent genes your ancestors implanted to make themselves stronger. And we Andromedans are here to eliminate that suicidal gene to save humanity and save Earth from you. Teddy says, "No, you came to kill us." Michelle says, "No. The Emperor believed there was still hope. That's why the experiments on your mother were conducted. She was chosen because she was weak and broken, and if we could correct her, perhaps all humans could be corrected." Like Teddy's mom, there were many other test subjects in this experiment, many showing progress. And we must show the Emperor the truth tomorrow during the lunar eclipse. Michelle says, "Teddy, I know you may hate me, but I have the information you need to save Earth." Tonight is the lunar eclipse. Michelle arrives at her office with Teddy. Teddy has also kept Don's body in the car. Michelle is limping as she walks, and the other office staff are shocked to see her. After suddenly going missing, how did she come back? Michelle goes straight to her cabin. From here, she will remotely contact the Emperor, and then they will transport them up. Michelle has to enter a 58-digit code into her calculator. It initiates a link with the ship. Michelle remembers the code, but it's been a while. She starts entering the code from memory. She says, "Now I just have to press enter." Teddy starts talking about air tanks. Michelle says there will be oxygen there, and we will send someone for Don. We may even be able to revive him. Right then, it's revealed that Teddy has strapped bombs to his chest. He can't take the chance of them just killing him straight away. Michelle says, "That is really smart." She tells him that this closet is a teleporter. We'll have to go one after the other so that our bodies don't fuse together. Seeing Teddy nervous, Michelle offers to go first. But Teddy can't let her go first in case she escapes. Teddy goes inside the closet. He closes the door. But as soon as Michelle presses enter, he explodes. His head flies out and hits Michelle, knocking her unconscious. An ambulance comes and takes Michelle away. But as soon as she regains consciousness, she gets out of the ambulance. Michelle, barefoot, goes back to her office. She goes inside that same closet herself. From here, she teleports directly to her Andromedan ship, which means everything Teddy was saying was true. And Michelle is none other than the Emperor of the Andromedans, who couldn't contact her people without her hair. Michelle is told that all the experiments on their human test subjects have failed, and now they have to make a decision. Michelle says, "It is over. They have had their time." Michelle pops a clear, bubble-like dome over a model of a flat Earth, instantly killing all humans on the planet. And with that, friends, this story comes to an end. Let us know in the comments how you liked this explanation. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.